What is up, guys? Delboy here. So another great fight has been announced for Mayweather versus McGregor. This fight is going to take place on the undercard, and it's between Nathan Cleverly and Badou Jack. This fight is taking place at light heavyweight, and Nathan Cleverly's WBA regular light heavyweight title is going to be on the line. Obviously, Andre Ward holds the real version of the WBA belt, but nevertheless, this is a great fight. Stylistically, I think both guys gel quite well, and I think it's going to be pleasing on the eye. I think this fight makes sense for both guys. Obviously, Nathan Cleverly is looking for big fights, and this is a big fight, fighting in America, big purse, etc. And Badou Jack is a guy who's coming up in weight. He's done some good work at super middleweight, beat George Groves, beat Anthony Durrell, should have got the win against Lucien Boutte, should have got the win against James DeGale, but those two fights were poorly judged in my opinion. I felt Badou Jack clearly won both fights, but he got draws in both of those. But regardless, I felt Badou Jack, proved he was the best guy at super middleweight when he was there, and he's moving up to light heavyweight. And I think Nathan Cleverly is the type of guy that's ideal for your first fight at light heavyweight. And what I mean by that is, like, if Badou Jack went in there with somebody like Stevenson or Andre Ward or Kovalev straight away, he's not going to be best prepared because he needs to get himself accustomed to the weight. And I think Cleverly is the ideal fight to sort of go into the weight too, because ultimately Cleverly is a guy, he's going to give you work. He's extremely durable. He's tough as nails, but he's not got that same threat level as those guys I mentioned. Cleverly's a solid fighter with great cardio. He's going to let his hands go, and he's going to try and trade with you, but the upper echelon guys in that division are going to beat him. He's that type of fighter. So I think for Badou Jack, it's an ideal first fight at light heavyweight. But having said that, I don't think it's a guaranteed win. Firstly, we don't know how Badou Jack is going to look at the weight. Badou Jack at super middleweight, he was never a puncher, but he hit hard enough to get your respect. Just ask James DeGale, look at his face. He hit hard enough at super middleweight. What's his power going to be like at light heavyweight? Because the reality is, Cleverly has fought Jurgen Bremer, he's fought Kovalev, he's fought Bellew at cruiserweight. If Badou Jack doesn't really trouble him, then, maybe, Cleverly could just try and walk straight through him and outwork him kind of thing. Because Cleverly, like I said, has shown great durability throughout his career. Look at the Ethan Farah fight. He was winning that fight until his nose got busted up, and his face started to turn into a bloody mask. He could barely breathe in that fight, but he kept on going. He kept on throwing. That's the type of guy Nathan Cleverly is. So, if Badou Jack can't get Nathan Cleverly's respect early, then it could be interesting, because the reality is, yes, Badou Jack has great fundamentals in terms of his straight punching. He's got a very good high guard. But one thing about Badou Jack, his output isn't that great. He doesn't throw a hell of a lot of punches. And that's one thing Nathan Cleverly does. Cleverly does maintain quite a high work rate. So, if Badou Jack can't get Nathan Cleverly's respect, and he can't make Cleverly fear what's coming back, then potentially it could be a really interesting fight. But when you look at both guys, I do feel Badou Jack is the much better technician. And also, one thing I'd say Badou Jack does very well is body punching. I felt he'd done an excellent job in the DeGale fight of body punching. DeGale in that fight, at the end of it, was looking like he was on the verge of getting stopped. He was so gassed. And that's one thing you have to do against Nathan Cleverly to stop that work rate. Badou Jack needs to do what he does, high guard, work behind that jab, pick his spots, but also go down to the body. You need to do that against somebody like Nathan Cleverly to deplete his gas tank, to put water in the basement per se. And I've seen Badou Jack do that a few times. He did it against Anthony Durrell very well as well. He did it against George Groves. All of his big fights, he's done the body work. So I think that's going to be a key here to sort of stem the work rate of Nathan Cleverly. Also, Cleverly's style, he has a very wide stance, and he's got a wide guard as well. So the straight punches of Badou Jack should find the target relatively easily, to be quite honest. Cleverly's defence is quite porous, and he gets hit a lot. That's the reality. So the straight punching, the better technique of Badou Jack should see him through. The bodywork as well should pay dividends. But don't write off Nathan Cleverly. Don't write off the sheer work rate, and don't write off the toughness, because I think there is an outside chance of an upset here. I do make Badou Jack a significant favourite. I'm going to pick a Badou Jack points win, but I wouldn't sort of bet the mortgage on it. I wouldn't bet the kids' college fund on it. I don't think it's a sure thing. But yeah, a really good fight. I think it should be fun. It could be bloody. With Nathan Cleverly, we saw his fight against Funfara, where he was a bloody mess, but he kept on coming, and potentially it could be another one of those type of fights. And credit to both guys for taking it. I'm a fan of both fighters, particularly Badou Jack. Badou Jack is one of my favourite fighters in the sport right now. I think what he's done and how he's turned around his career is nothing short of remarkable. I mean, if you look at his early career, I remember him fighting Paraban, and that fight was a draw, and a lot of people felt Paraban won it. And shortly after that fight, he fought a guy called Derek Edwards, and in that fight he got stopped in one round, And at that stage, nobody would have predicted that Badou Jack would have went on to beat guys like Anthony Durrell, George Groves, Lucien Boutte. And by the way, I think I mentioned he drew with Lucien Boutte. He actually drew with Boutte, but the result was overturned to a win because of a failed drug test. But the original result was a draw. But yeah, he went on to do some great things at super middleweight, and nobody would have thought that from that knockout defeat and his early career form. So the way he's turned around his career has been very impressive, because he's developed extremely well, and just goes to show hard work, mental strength, and just determination takes you a long way sometimes, because Badou Jack is not naturally that talented. He's not like a guy like James DeGale, who's got all the talent in the world. He's got all the natural ability. He's not like that. He's a product of hard work and sheer dedication. So fair play to him. And also fair play to Nathan Cleverly. He showed a lot of heart in his career so far. I mean, he's bounced back well from the Kovalev defeat. Yeah, he's took a couple more defeats along the way, but he's become a world champion again, despite what you think of that world title he's holding. So credit to both men for bouncing back. Credit to both men for being warriors. Looking forward to this fight. I've got Badou Jack winning this fight on points. What about you guys? Peace.